Yun na. Nauna ka na.
Anong gagawin ko? Eh, wala eh.
Good morning, Tiki official. Good morning. Good afternoon, Yaset more. We shall start the discussion after 30 minutes and just trying to set everything up. Good to see you, Yaset. TK, it's my first time to see you. Um, Thank you for visiting my channel. Hi, TK blogs. Hi, Ginya Garo. My favorite Londonera is here. Hi, GLN Opinions. There. Oh, I'm sorry. Ah, you're the great analyst. You should know that. Thank you, GNL Opinions. Hi, Jack Channel. Thank you for visiting my channel again. Uh, we will discuss that later, Gene. And you, Kumusta na kayo dyan? Hello, Sultan J. Hello, TK Blogs. I'm just setting things. That is Rick. Okay, umpisa na tayo. Um, Batihan muna tayo, ha? So, babati muna tayo kay kay summa cum laude. Ang summa cum laude natin ay si TK Official. Ang magna cum laude is Yajet Morse. Check Blog, mga cum laude, Jean Jagers, JNL Opinions, Jack Chandler, Thea and me, Susana J, at saka si Reggie Luego. So, bago tayo magtalakay, for the sake of si, I think, Cutie Connie requested me to play the Senate hearings. Habang wala pang masyadong marami, paparinig ko na sa inyo. Okay? Direct, san yun? Direct! Sandali lang ha, kukunin ko yung tape. Crucial po yun. Aha. Direct! Direct! Yung tape. Paparinig ko muna, wala pa tao eh. Nakakanood ko lang. Ano? Yung Senate hearing ha. Umong Senate hearing. Okay. Open please. Okay. Hearing. John Udobra, welcome. So,
If I may then call on the Legislative Committee Secretary to administer the oath to the resource persons, unless the minority leader would like to for the
nakinig lang po tayo
concise
sa
and
Hi Rad.
orderly narration
Para
of that.
ma-discuss natin
In a news
mabuti.
article by the Philippine News Agency, Ambassador Romualdez confirmed that the U.S. made a request sometime in October of 2022 for the Philippines to temporarily house the Afghan special immigrant visa applicants. Ambassador Romualdez, you maintained that there was no secret to the U.S. proposal to allow the entry and temporary housing of the nationals from Afghanistan. May we know how the request was made? Was it merely a verbal order, or is there a written request that can be produced for the committee and the public to know?
Well, good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon to everyone. Yes, there was a formal request that we received at the embassy, and I hope that we will be able to produce that request but it was also followed up with us through the State Department whether this was possible for us to consider. And so we immediately sent this request to the Department of Foreign Affairs, and the Secretary and I spoke about it briefly, and he said that he was going to have this studied before any action could be taken. But that is what happened when we received this in October last year.
Yes, Secretary Manalo, please. The information, therefore, from Washington, D.C. Embassy is that the DFA actually was in receipt of a formal request. Is that the case?
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair.
Good afternoon, Secretary. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Yes, in October 22, as relayed by Ambassador Romualdez, we received in a concept note from the U.S. government a request for the Philippines to allow Afghans formerly employed.
Which sort of note, please, Secretary?
Concept note.
Concept note, okay. But it was written, in fact.
Yes, written. And the idea was to allow Afghans formerly employed by the U.S. government and their qualified dependents to temporarily stay in the Philippines to process their SID applications with the U.S. Embassy in Manila. So we immediately launched informal consultation. We launched consultations with relevant Philippine agencies in order to have to study the concept note and assess the request.
The ambassador says that thereafter the State Department also reiterated the request directly to them. Correct?
Yes, Madam Chair. In fact, the Secretary of State directly raised this with me on a few occasions, verbally, and also in a letter, which I'd be happy to provide later.
Hi,
And in fact,
Vincent.
President Biden also briefly raised the issue with President Marcos during the visit last May.
This is during the May visit. This is during the May visit, sir. Yes. Thank you. When was the DOJ, the DND, the NSA, perhaps we can go through the list. When were you made aware of the request of the U.S.? We call on the DOJ, please. I think there are several representatives. When were you apprised of the request?
Sir, confirm yung analysis ni Tatay Jack. Ako lang ang nag-analyze ng gano'n. I was the only one who analyzed it correctly. That PBBM and President Biden discussed it during their meeting. Nobody else. Maraming vlogger pero they were not able to come up with the true picture. Sir, confirm yung analysis ni Tatay Jack. Ako lang ang nag-analyze ng gano'n. I was the only one who analyzed it correctly. That PBBM and President Biden discussed it.
Housing is in accordance with the powers and jurisdiction of the Committee on Foreign Relations under Rule 10, Section 13, Paragraph 18 of the Rules of the Senate in relation to Senate Resolution 5, otherwise known as the Rules of Procedure governing inquiries in aid of legislation. The minority leader is an expert on Senate procedure, and I just wanted to make clear why we are conducting motu proprio a hearing during the period of recess. During the given the urgency and the importance of the matter, I feel that we fall squarely under rule aforementioned. So, if I may then call on the Legislative Committee Secretary to administer the oath to the resource persons, unless the minority leader would like to for the concise and orderly narration of facts. In a news article by the Philippine news agency, Ambassador Romualdez confirmed that the U.S. made a request sometime in October of 2022 for the Philippines to temporarily house the Afghan special immigrant visa applicants. Ambassador Romualdez, you maintained that there was no secret to the U.S. proposal to allow the entry and temporary housing of the nationals from Afghanistan. May we know how the request was made? Was it merely a verbal order, or is there a written request that can be produced for the committee and the public to know?
Well, good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon to everyone. Yes, there was a formal request that we received at the embassy, and I hope that we will be able to produce that request. But it was also followed up with us through the State Department whether this is possible for us to consider. And so we immediately sent this request to the Department of Foreign Affairs, and the Secretary and I spoke about it briefly, and he said that he was going to have this studied before any action could be taken. But that is what happened when we received this in October last year.
Yes, Secretary Manalo, please. The information, therefore, from Washington, D.C. Embassy is that the DFA actually was in receipt of a formal request. Is that the case?
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair.
Good afternoon, Secretary. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Yes, in October 22, as relayed by Ambassador Romualdez, we received in a concept note from the U.S. government, a request for the Philippines to allow Afghans formerly employed.
Which sort of note, please, Secretary?
Concept note.
Concept note, okay. But it was written, in fact.
Yes, written. And the idea was to allow Afghans formerly employed by the U.S. government and their qualified dependents to temporarily stay in the Philippines to process their SID applications with the U.S. Embassy in Manila. So we immediately launched informal consultation. We launched consultations with the relevant Philippine agencies in order to have to study the concept note and assess the request.
The ambassador says that thereafter the State Department also reiterated the request directly to the DFA. Is that correct?
Yes, Madam Chair. In fact, the Secretary of State directly raised this with me on a few occasions, verbally, and also in a letter, which I'd be happy to provide later. And in fact, President Biden also briefly raised the issue with President Marcos during the visit last May.
This is during the May visit. This is during the May visit, sir. Yes. Thank you. When was the DOJ, the DND, the NSA, perhaps we can go through the list, when were you made aware of the request of the U.S.? We call on the DOJ, please. I think there are several representatives. When were you apprised of the request? Anyone from the DOJ was informed at any point in time? The DND? When were you made aware of the request?
Madam Chair, insofar as our records are concerned, when it was in December of 2022.
Was it from the DFA, from Washington, or from the State Department directly?
DFA, Madam Chair.
From the DFA. Is this a letter?
I will find out, Madam Chair. I would suppose it would have been written merely through meetings, according to Assistant Secretary Lorenzo. Merely through convening of meetings, Madam Chair.
Meetings?
Yes.
The convening of meetings, are these the June meetings? The earlier June meetings? Or is this an earlier occurrence?
No, Your Honor, it was December of last year.
December pa yung meeting?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sige. Okay, paano yung DOJ? Kailan ninyo nabalitaan itong request na to?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, I stand corrected.
Sorry.
I was reminded by Secretary Manalo that it was October of last year.
Early as
they
October.
convened. Yes, Madam Chair.
Was that the meeting or referral of the said request. Secretary Manalo, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In fact, it was informal. It was an interagency. And in fact, if I could just read off the agencies who were there.
Yes, if you could, thank you.
Yes, the meeting that we had called for was attended by representatives from, of course, the DFA, the Armed Forces of the Philippines, Department of Justice, Department of National Defense, and the National Intelligence Coordinating Council, and the Philippine National Police. This was on October 28th.
So it is correct, therefore, does the DOJ corroborate the same that you were formally called to a meeting by the DFA on October of last year, together with the rest of the agencies?
We confirm, Madam Chair, that there was such a interagency meeting of which the DOJ was a part of.
Thank you. So does NICA have the same in their records, please?
Madam Chair, as far as NICA is concerned, this was discussed formally last 20th ATC conference, 26th of April 2023. And
So as far as NICA was concerned, you were only told in April?
this was discussed 26th April 20th of the ATC, Anti-Terrorism Council.
I'm
NICA was
sorry,
the-
I'm not hearing you properly.
DICA is the secretariat of the Anti-Terrorism Council, and this was formally discussed before the body, chaired by T.S. Bersamin, and that
When?
was 26th of April 2023.
Only in 2023. Hindi kayo kasama dun sa October and December. Is that correct? Okay, what about the BI? Immigration, please. Kailan kayo nasabihan?
As far as BI is concerned, ma'am, we only attended the June 2, 2023 interagency meeting. It was the first time that our presence was requested.
Right, that's the same as our information. Is there anyone from Muslim Affairs and DepEd? They were similarly called, the ICT, the OST, is that correct? Yes, Attorney Guro.
Yes, Madam Chair. As far as the National Commission on Muslim Filipinos, we were only informed also of a notice of a meeting. So we were invited to the June 7 meeting.
Okay, anyone from DepEd?
Good
Kailan kayo
afternoon, Madam Chair.
nakapila?
Kami po, I confirmed that we also attended the June 7 meeting, but as far as the records would bear, this came to the attention of the Department of Education back in March 22, 2023, when there was a letter from Director General De Leon asking the Vice President to comment on the subject proposal.
I see. Have you commented?
Yes, ma'am. The Department of Education submitted a comment that was signed by the Vice President last April 20, 2023 to NICA, to Director General De Leon, and I've already also submitted a copy of our comment to the Secretariat for your perusal.
Thank you. Yes, I'm not yet in receipt. I'm sorry I was not able to read it. The NBI, kailan kayo nasabihan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I received a letter last April 20 from the Anti-Terrorism Council, where we were required to submit our comments and inputs.
So magkasabay kayo ng NICA?
Yes, ma'am. And then we attended the meeting last June 7
Yeah,
at the Presidential Management Staff.
magkakapareho kayo.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else? PNP? Nasabihan ba kayo kagad?
Yes, ma'am. For the Philippine National Police, we received an email as October 24, 2022.
I see. And I see Mr. Libardo raising his hand there.
Madam Chair, from the National Security Council, Deputy Director General Nestor Jerico, we received a departmental level from the DFA, from Undersecretary for Civilian Security and Consular Affairs, dated 2 November 2022, and we reply their departmental letter as of 15 November 2022, Madam Chair.
Okay. Since you were informed to the DFA, but was any of you furnished a copy of the U.S. request? If so, when did you receive said copy of the U.S. request? Secretary Manalo, was there a U.S. request? You said there was. Is that correct? You said that there was a formal request, as a matter of fact.
It
You
was
said earlier. Is that
It's a
correct?
formal request in the form of a concept note.
Yes. So was the concept note then cascaded to all the relevant agencies like the DND, the DOJ, etc.? Or did you keep it confidential?
Initially, once we got it, we just informed the agencies who I'd mentioned, the DOJ, DND, NICA, Philippine National.
Informed means you told them, but did not provide a copy of the concept letter. Is that correct?
We did. We invited them to a meeting, and in fact, the general consensus.
But he seems to be ignorant of the other resource persons seem to be ignorant of the existence of a concept.
Well,
no?
we did not invite them yet because we didn't know who would exactly be involved. But from our initial assessment, we thought the one
So the concept note was given to whom, please?
to the
DND lang. DFA lang at DND yan. Yung sa umpisa,
we gave it
yung
to
October.
we gave it to the agencies whom we invited. In fact,
Sino-sino po? So far, DND
DND.
seems to be the only one who's been invited on
DND.
in 20.
AFP, PNP,
Come again. Can we start? DND, AFP, PNP,
NICA,
NICA.
and then those were the four we had invited initially,
Okay.
and DOJ.
DOJ. Can these 5 agencies confirm the receipt of said concept note from the United States?
Madam Chair, insofar
Yes.
as our records are concerned, I confirm receipt by our Assistant Secretary for Strategic Assessment and International Affairs on
Thank you
21
very much.
October.
On October.
Yes, ma'am. A letter from the DFA, which there to attach a proposal for bilateral cooperation to support the
Okay.
processing of
Comment ko
Afghan
dyan,
special
paulit-ulit
Thank you.
nila.
Thank you very much.
It's
from
well
the Secretary.
established na mayroong concept
DOJ.
note.
We
Paulit-ulit.
confirm, Madam Chair, that we were also in receipt of the concept note
In October.
in October.
Okay. AFP and PNP as well as NICA. Kanina sinabi niyo, April na lang kayo nasabihan. Meron ba? Wala. Kanina kasi, ang pagkasabi, April 26, 2023 was the first notion you had during the meeting of the Anti-Terror Council. Did you
confirm that.
receive?
Madam Chair, I will confirm that it was discussed as 26 April. But I was checking on the record that we received a notice from NSA 30 March of 2023.
March 2023. So you never received the U.S. concept note?
It was a letter coming from our NSA, not a concept note.
No concept note. So there seems to be some discrepancy in the transmission. The 3 agencies, AFP and PNP, similarly received it later in the day, right?
Ma'am, for the PNP, we received it on October 24, 2022.
Oh, kanina sabi mo Marso na, Abril.
No, ma'am, October 24, 2022.
Oh, okay. Kanina iba kasi. Alright, yung AFP.
Good afternoon, ma'am. From the AFP,
Okay.
we received the memo from the DND dated 25 October. So,
Okay.
yes, ma'am, of 2022.
So DND, but no concept note?
Request for comments lang po, ma'am, ang ni-request sa amin.
No concept. So both the AFP, the PNP, and the NICA, both the AFP and the NICA did not receive the concept note. In fact, that's correct, because the PNP now says that they actually received it. Pero yung AFP, wala? O baka nakakabit dyan, naka-annex? Baka naka-annex lang yan. Nakakabit. So AFP in fact got it. Yung NICA did not get it. Still, they parang wala.
I check yung Manila record,
Alright.
Madam Chair.
That's fine. Yes, and we recognize Senator Tolentino. You're encouraged to butt in at any point in time. Is this the usual procedure for requests of course, this is not usual business at all. But prior to the resolution filed by myself on June 8th, was there any press release on the part of the Philippine Embassy in Washington, D.C., the DFA, or any other government agency concerning the request of the United States and the course of action that the government plans to take? The Philippine government plans to take. Nag-anunsyo na kayo, nag-press release, o pinag-usapan na ba ito in any public forum at all?
Ay, nako.
No, Madam Chair, because we were still
I-advance ko na konti, paulit-ulit po yung concept. The fact is, my concept, no.
So nothing was final in that sense because we were still trying to collate all that kind of detail in our informal consultations with the United States, because they have come back now and again over the past few months to discuss some of the issues involved. All I can say at this point, and I say that because there's really nothing agreed yet, but it seems that there is the possibility, if we were able to have any kind of arrangement, we would.
There's no agreement yet. Inaaral mabuti ng ating pamahalaan. So, unti-unti nating himayin.
Would be having perhaps a pilot group, maybe a limited number.
Alam niyo ba ibig sabihin ng pilot? Red, Gene Jaggers. Ang pilot group, bago sumabak sa lahat, kailangan mayroong test group. Ibig sabihin, hindi sila mag-proceed with the program if the pilot group is not going to work. Yun ang hindi naiintindihan ng ibang vloggers. Remember that pilot group? I wonder why Sen Ami refused to delve more into this statement by the officials or the resource person, when this is very, very important. Maski saan kayo magpunta, kung pilot lang yung group, hindi yan ang main group. So, kung hindi successful po yung group, hindi na matutuloy yung program. Kasi simple. Maganda nga yung idea ng administrasyon, pilot group. Didiscuss ko mamaya lahat yan. So, makinig kayo.
Now we haven't even discussed that number yet. To first, we could first see how that pilot group would work, and then we will decide on how to proceed after that. But we have not gone beyond that issue, other than to say we might have a pilot group. But what I can say are the following, and these appear in the concept note and also after further informal talks with the United States. We understand from the U.S. that all Afghans who will be traveling with valid passports and will have already, before they were to arrive, if they were to arrive here, would already have undergone rigorous security vetting and background.
Lahat ng Afghans. Kaya nga, inaaral mabuti. Lahat ng Afghans, vetted na po, may passport na po. And you will learn later na hanggang 59 days lang silang allowed for any group to stay in the Philippines. After that, either they are shipped to another country or they are shipped to the United States. All the advantages are with the Philippine government. As you will learn later. Okay. Kaya, wag tayong kagad maghusga.
Have indeed previously worked with the U.S. government, because these would be Afghans who had worked before with the U.S. government. And we've also been informed that all costs would be shouldered by the United States government.
All costs.
Also, the United States would, with Philippine officials, try and select a suitable site where they could be located while they're being processed.
Ang position ko, di ba? Wala pa akong nalalaman dito sa hearing. It was only requested that I play for you. All costs, meaning housing, transportation, medical expenses, food expenses. Sino mag-aasikaso sa kanila? Pilipino. Sino babayaran ng states? Pilipino. Sino ang magkakaroon ng trabaho? Pilipino. Hanggang 59 days lang sila, bawat isang tao. Pero kung hindi successful yung pilot, hindi matutuloy ang programa. Kasi may pilot program pala. Ngayon, ilagay mo ang sitwasyon ni PBBM. Presidente ka ng bayan. Oh, listen, Yasset Morse, Red, saka Jean Jaggers, Jail Opinions. Presidente ka ng bayan. Di ang unang purpose mo is how to protect our bayan, our bansa. Di ba? Napunta siya sa states. Anong Red, Jean Jaggers, when PBBM went to the states, what is his main problem? What was the hot topic then? Sabihin nyo nga sa akin. Sabihin nyo nga sa akin. Put yourself in the shoes of PBBM, the President of the Republic of the Philippines. Then you will try to protect the sanctity of our territory so that China cannot encroach on our territory. Yeah, hello, Meltor. Oh, that was his main concern when he went to the States. So lahat ito tayo. Now, we go back to the statement of general opinions. Isa sa pinagmagaling na is, hindi kayo obra. Kung iba yung pananaw nyo rito. During PBBM's US visit, PBBM and President Biden probably engaged in some political horse trading. That's a common term to politics. Horse trading meaning negotiation accompanied by shrewd bargaining and reciprocal concessions. Di ba in-analyze ko yan kahapon? I gave you a scenario. I think I have the tape of that. I will play it. Ako lang ang nag-analyze ng ganon. Oh, ito. Pakinggan nyo.
Okay, ito na. Tapos ko na yung kanya. Di naman kainin ng gobyerno natin. Supportan natin naman ang Amerika while they are passing the papers. Okay, tama.
Wait.
Siguro, yan ang mayroon pang consideration yan. Nag-usap na sila ng President Bongbong Marcos.
Oh. Tingnan nyo?
Tungkol dyan. Meron na silang pinag-usapan siguro.
Oh, yan?
kunwari lang si Babe Romualdez ang magsasuggest. Siguro sabi, ito, it's not backed by facts. It's not backed by facts.
Now, it is backed by facts. Kinonfirm po na nag-usap sila about the Afghan issue. Hindi ko pa alam ha. In-analyze ko yan mabuti before I gave it to you. Nobody else did. Among sa paborito niyo mga vloggers, hindi. Wait, ano nangyari? Wait, nawala yung tape.
Sabi niya, yan nag-usap na lang ng president. Ito posibleng senaryo. Sabi ni President Biden kay BB, I have a problem. May mga Afghan refugees na naging empleyado namin. They will be under persecution ng mga Taliban. Pwede ba tanggapin muna na sila? Kasi masyadong mainit ngayon dito ang politika sa Amerika. Pwede ba? Pag tinanggap mo sila, ibibigyan kayo namin ikaw ng suporta sa military, sa aid. Di ba posibleng mangyari yan? Kaya pinadaan niya kay Babe Romualdez ang proposal na yan. Palagay niyo kaya kung matalino kayong political analyst, isisiwalat ni Babe Romualdez dyan ang masyadong masalimuot na issue kung walang approval po si PBBM. Di ba katulad ng isip ni BBM si Apo Lakay? Ang tanong ko lang, gagawa ba ng hakbang si Babe Romualdez na walang paalam sa ating Pangulo? Hindi, kung magpupropose sila ng ganyan, na siya lang ay magagawa, hindi siya mag-husay na ambassador.
Yun lang muna. Ang proof doon, Sir Jack, first, I have a conspiracy theory about the Afghan refugees. They're not refugees, they're employees. Do you think America will use Afghan in the military aspect in the future? Hindi na siguro, because they like in Vietnam, nangyari, hindi nila ginamit yung mga Vietnamese to get back of Vietnam. Since America works, since Afghan works for America. Again, I just wanted to prove that I love Maribel. I just wanted to prove that I was the only one blogger who painted the true picture na pinag-usapan na nila ni Biden. Okay, as per request. Sino mga blogger na nag-paint ng true picture na nag-usap na siya tungkol sa Afghan issue? Maski Kwan, tutuloy natin. Request ng aking paboritong viewer.
Housing, is in accordance with the powers and jurisdiction of the Committee on Foreign Relations under Rule 10, Section 13, Paragraph 18 of the Rules of the Senate in relation to Senate Resolution 5, otherwise known as the Rules of Procedure governing inquiries in aid of legislation. The minority leader is an expert on Senate procedure, and I just wanted to make clear why we are conducting motu proprio a hearing during the period of recess. During the given the urgency and the importance of the matter, I feel that we fall squarely under rule aforementioned. So, if I may then call on the Legislative Committee Secretary to administer the oath to the resource persons, unless the minority leader would like to for the concise and orderly narration of facts. In a news article by the Philippine news agency, Ambassador Romualdez confirmed that the U.S. made a request sometime in October of 2022 for the Philippines to temporarily house the Afghan special immigrant visa applicants. Ambassador Romualdez, you maintained that there was no secret to the U.S. proposal to allow the entry and temporary housing of the nationals from Afghanistan. May we know how the request was made? Was it merely a verbal order, or is there a written request that can be produced for the committee and the public to know?
Well, good afternoon, Madam Chair. Good afternoon to everyone. Yes, there was a formal request that we received at the embassy, and I hope we will be able to produce that request. But it was also followed up with us through the State Department whether this is possible for us to consider. And so we immediately sent this request to the Department of Foreign Affairs, and the Secretary and I spoke about it briefly, and he said that he was going to have this studied before any action could be taken. But that is what happened when we received this in October last year.
Yes, Secretary Manalo, please. The information, therefore, from Washington, D.C. Embassy is that the DFA actually was in receipt of a formal request. Is that the case?
Good afternoon, Honorable Chair.
Good afternoon, Secretary. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Yes, in October 22, as relayed by Ambassador Romualdez, we received
naulit na po ito.
in a concept note from the U.S. government a
Request for comments lang po, ma'am, ang ni-request sa amin.
No concept. So both the
states would, with Philippine officials, try and select
Sorry,
a
ma'am.
suitable site
Na-play na yan dati.
located while they are being processed or vetted. It would, of course, be up to the Philippines. We also mentioned that to them, that if any arrangement, it would be up to the Philippines to impose mobility restrictions and internal movements within the Philippines. The U.S. also committed to us that in the event there are Afghans who come here for processing, that no one would be left behind in the Philippines. And that includes the
No one will be left behind.
SIV, whom we expect will be removed to another country outside the Philippines as soon as their maximum allowable period of stay expires. And therefore, any agreement we feel
Importante yon. It's the Philippines who controls. No Afghan will be allowed to stay here. If a visa applicant is denied, he will be put in another country other than us. That is the agreement. So, ang concern ninyo na may matitira ritong Afghan ay hindi na po valid. Tanda natin po na 59 days. What can an Afghan do in 59 days sa Pilipinas? Pati ang cellphone nila will be monitored. All costs will be shouldered by the US. Magkakatrabaho ang mga Pilipino. Magkakaroon ng additional dollars ang ating bansa. Kasi pag sinang babayaran nila. Di ba mga Pilipino? Saan sila bibili ng pagkain? Most probably sa atin. Kita nyo? At saka Ma'am Maribel, ito maganda. Mayroon pilot program. Ano po ang ibig sabihin ng pilot program? Ito purposely ignored by Sen. Aimee. Kung aanga kang political analyst, hindi mo mahahalata. Kasi hindi ini-stress ni Sen. Aimee yan. Ini-stress niya yung sa concept note, kung sino nabigyan. The fact is, mayroong concept note. In succeeding meetings, magkakaroon ng dissemination of that concept note. Oh. Pero ilang minuto ang ginamit niya for that alone. When the most important fact na na-discover natin is mayroon pa lang pilot program. Ano ang ibig sabihin po na pilot program? It is a test program. Ngayon, kung di nag-succeed yung program na yon based on my analysis, siyempre, di na itutuloy yung program. Ulitin ko. Nung nagpunta sa States si President Marcos, anong pinakamalaking problema? Anong pinakamalaking problema? Sabihin mo nga sa akin. Di ba nagkakaproblema tayo sa China? Sa West Philippine Sea? Siyempre, gusto ni PBBM na ma-resolve po yung problem. Ma-resolve po yung problem to our advantage. Kung ikaw ang presidente, di ba yun aaskasuhin mo? Kasi may encroachment maneuvers ang mga Chinese. Okay. Ngayon, i-confront yung sinabi ko yung kinonfirm. Yung sinabi ko sa inyo na walang ibang nagsabi na vlogger na nag-uusap sila na sinabi ni Biden President Biden ang problema niya sa Afghan issue. Kasi may nga talaga sa ang politics sa States. Siyempre, horse trading yan. Ang magaling na analyst dyan, nakalagay niya, nakapin. During PBM's visit, PBBM and President Biden probably engaged in political horse trading. Siyempre, hindi lahat nakukuha natin kung walang kapalit. Naintindihan nyo? Siyempre, sinabi ni President Biden ang problema niya. Ito ang problema ko. Kung pagbibigyan mo ako, kasi kalyado ka namin, ipibigyan ka namin ng military support. Aid. Investment opportunities. Nakuha lang lahat yan ni President Marcos. Di ba kayo nagtataka? Ngayon, insultumba niya yung presidente ng most powerful nation. Hindi. Bigyan nyo lang sa amin yung nararapat sa amin. Pero hindi ka namin kayo pagbibigyan. Ganun ba? Okay. Oh. Nilalatag ko lang muna, Ms. Maribel, yung sitwasyon kung bakit binigyan ng hindi mo naman siya pumayag eh. Aaralan namin, sabi niya. Okay. Ma'am Maribel, Philippines will give them a visa for 59 days, but the processing use visa will take 4 years to process. 59 days, ibig sabihin, they cannot overstay. Oh. If they have the visa and they are processed here, alam niyo kung bakit dito pinang-process? Nagtatanong kayo. Bakit hindi sa States? Hindi sila pupunta. I'll give you an example. Ang mga produkto sa States na ikukonsume nila, iproduce sa China. Bakit hindi na lang i-produce sa States? Din pupunta? See the analogy? Bakit hindi na lang i-produce sa States? Ang mga produkto. Doon din pupunta yung produktong yun eh. Kasi it's a fallacy yung statement niya. Because cost is involved. No matter what. So, 59 days. At saka sa pa, in batches ang processing po ng papers. Kung saan tayo komportable po. As you will learn later. It could be 1.5, it could be 500. It depends on the Philippines. What we are comfortable with to process them. All the aces are held by the Filipinos. Okay, let's proceed. And then you can type your comments. Kung gusto mo, umakyat ka.
On this effect, the U.S. must contain provisions regarding the removal of those denied an SID. There are also a number of points I could.
Yes, Secretary, we're in receipt of your briefer. Thank you very much. Yes, that's correct. So the numbers have not been discussed, but there have been various reports. Perhaps Ambassador Romualdez, you could help us. There are reports that upwards of 1,000 eligible Afghan nationals per month would be sent. Maybe 1,005 to 2,000 per batch, reaching a total of 30 to 50,000 Afghan nationals to arrive in the Philippines under this effort. Is that correct, Ambassador Romualdez?
Yes, Madam Chair. That is what they were telling us, that they would like to see if they can bring in at least 1,000 per batch. However, I just want to point out that it is really completely.
Does it mean per batch, per month? And the second batch will not come in until the first batch of 1,000 has departed and being processed to go to the United States? Or will there be 30 to 50,000 total Afghans in the Philippines at one time?
It's completely up to us on how we want to proceed with this request. We can have it 1,000 each time.
What did the secretary say? It is completely up to us. If they cannot handle 1,500, then they go for 1,000. If they cannot handle 1,000, then they go for 500. It is very clear. It is very clear po, Madam Maribel. They cannot overstay 59 days. That's the visa given to them. So,
Be repatriated to the United States once they receive their SIVs, or they will bring in perhaps 1,000 or 2,000. It depends on the kind of the boarding or lodging that they will provide, which all of these there will be at their expense.
who will provide the lodging? Is it us or the United States? It depends on the lodging. 30,000 cannot be placed. Preposterous yung mga accusation ni, manage 30,000 in a small place. Di sardinasang at one time daw sabi ni Amy, di sardinasang kwan ang lalabasan. Gusto ba ni PBBM ba? Tanga ba si PBBM nagpapayag sa ganyan? 30,000 at one time? Matalino naman si PBBM eh. Sabi nga na, you will learn later na you're not going to be treated like a detainee. It will be bad image for the Philippines. So, all this information given out by Marcos, Sen. Amy Marcos, is to misinform the Filipino people, to give them fear. So, malinaw ang sabi ng secretary, 1,000 to 1,500 in batches. Sabi ko, kinounter siya ni does it mean that there is going to be 30,000 Afghans at one time? Of course not. If you are a good thinking political analyst, you will realize the preposterousness of her statement. Ulitin ko, there is a pilot program. Hindi niya in-stress yun. Kung di po successful yung pilot program, hindi na magkukontinue yung programa. Because that's the essence po. Thank you. That's the essence po ng what a pilot program is. Sabi ni, I don't understand why it's such a big deal during this admin. They already started coming 2021 in small batches. Ganun ba? I don't know. I can't make a comment. But if your statement is true, in small batch, kung 2021 ay naroon na palang small batches, hindi naman nagka-problema. How much more nagkaka-problema na supportado ng US lahat. The questions here, sabi ko nga sa iyo, Red. In the first place, mainit ang politika sa states. Di ba? Tinanong ko ni Simplidokis. I gave him the answer. Duwag sila. Hindi nila makaya ang political heat. So, going back, ang horse trading po ng Pilipinas at saka Amerika concerning this issue. It was concerning this issue. Sinabi ko, bakit? Duwag sila. So, they want help from an ally. At sabi niya, bakit hindi po sa Thailand, Indonesia? Sino ba talaga ang kalyado ng States sa Southeast Asia? Preposterous yung mga allegation ni Amy. Kanino sila hingi ng tulong? Lalo na may EDCA basis na sila rito. Bakit para pupunta? Oh. Second, ang cost po, mas mura ang cost to house the Afghans. Example ko lang. Yung produktong gagamitin ng US, bakit hindi sa US pinuproduce? Bakit kailangan pang sa China? Eh, doon naman gagamitin. A pilot program po sa aking experience as a teacher. Yung experimental program po yan. Sinabi po original, may pilot program eh. Oh. Balikan natin ang tape pero masyado nang kwan eh. Balikan nyo ang buong tape. Hindi ni-stress ni Amy. I don't know why. Direct. Pacheck ko ang yung pilot program. Direct. Check. Dami yung pilot program. Hello, Maribel. There. Because you are special to me. I researched the meaning of pilot program sa Google. Pilot program meaning. Study or experimental trial. is a small scale but short term experiment. This is not coming from me. It's coming from Google itself. You can Google it, man. How large scale might work in practice. Oh, I hope it's clear. Nah, she ignored the pilot program of the DFA to suit her intention to blacken the image of the intended program of the DFA. Okay, again, Ma'am Maribel, because you're so special to me, I took time to take a research. Go to Google, find the meaning of pilot program. I'm just wondering, sabi ni general opinion, someone with this special visa may take up to only 90 days to receive their permanent resident card. Oh. Siguro, dating nagkaroon ng special visa to si general opinions. Someone with special immigrant visa may take up to 90 days to receive their card. Okay, I'm just wondering, Afghans will use for military aspects since American used them back in Afghan. Tapos na po yung conflict din eh. Red, I know. Take a look back in history. Nung natalo sila, mga Vietnamese refugees, ginamit ba nila para bumalik sa balikan ng mga Vietnamese? I doubt it. Because right now, Americans have no stomach for another war. Pagod na sila. Based on, I know because I'm here in the States. Yeah. You have the perfect analysis, but whatever reason behind it, just as long as the citizens are protected and the country, and let's just trust the president. Ang galing, Red. Ang galing. That's it. Trust the president. He will not do anything that's going to hurt our country. Ulitin ko. Tignan mo ang ginawa niya. Nakipag-horse trading siya kay President Biden. Ano nangyari sa Chinese aggression? May naririnig pa ba tayo sa West Philippine Sea? Kinukort pa tayo ng Chinese ngayon. Nag-donate sila ng urea, mga pagkain. Ganoon kausay si Presidente Marcos. Kinamit niya ang talino niya nang napunta siya sa United States. Ulitin ko. Kung presidente ka ng Pilipinas, may malaki kang problema na ang makakatulong masolba yung problema mo ay yung United States. Pagkatapos sumiling tayo yung United States, a small favor na ikaw ang nagkukontrol. Hindi mo ba sila pagbibigyan? Ikaw na sa sapatos ni President Marcos. Ay, nako. Teka, although my position is very unpopular, it is deep-rooted in political analysis. I'm not afraid to go against the tide. Tuloy natin ang tape.
Yes, thank you. I would like to call on Senator Coco Pimentel, who has been raising his hand.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. May I ask, where are these potential Afghan refugees right now?
Ambassador Romuald.
Yes, from the way I understand it, they are currently located either still in Afghanistan, perhaps some of the family members of this people who worked in the United States with the United States government, but the last conversation I had with the State Department is that some of them are in Pakistan at the moment. So thank you for that point of information, Madam Chair.
Yes, Senator Tolentino, please.
Senator Valdez, a few questions. You're willing to answer some. Aside from the United States, there are existing similar SIV programs right now. We have one in Canada, the Special Immigration Measure. We have one in Germany, also applicable to the Afghans. The United Kingdom has the Afghan Relocations and Assistance Policy, or ARAP. Australia has a program known as the Afghan Locally Engaged Employees, or LEEE. Aside from the United States, were there requests coming from the other countries I mentioned a while ago?
Not to us, not that I know of.
But you are aware of the several programs I mentioned a while ago?
Yeah.
Ma'am, of course, a pilot program for 50,000, that's not possible po. Kung pilot program, you start with small. Ang meaning ng pilot program is small lang program po. Hindi po sabay-sabay na buong school. Ang pilot program po, yung select few. Hindi applicable lahat yan, sabay-sabay. Oh, you know what you mean. I'm hearing. In the hearing, I understood the U.S. has stopped program for 50,000 pilot program. Of course not. And pilot program, by its meaning, is a small number. Parang test lang po. Which if successful, can be applied to the other 50,000. I understand you stopped receiving Afghan refugees. Of course, that is a false rumor. They will accept it. Because that is the agreement. Don't believe yung otherwise. Bakit nila i-process dito if they don't intend to accept them? And they are not refugees. They were former workers. I was misinformed that they were refugees. Yeah. Let us trust the president. He knew what he was getting into. Now I believe it. I see the reason why President Apo Lakay chose Bongbong Marcos to be the one who is going to be president rather than Amy. Amy herself said that. Matalino po si Apo Lakay. Alam niya kung sino ang sa kanilang dalawang kapatid, kung sino ang mas ang lawak ng paggunawa. Ami admitted it. Sinabihan siya na ang gusto ko maging presidente ay si Bongbong. So they are not refugees. They are not refugees. That's why the US should pay for everything. You're right. This refugee thing should be clear. Yeah. Pero pinag-aaral, hindi pa rin siya ura-urada na gagawa ng desisyon. May full hearing po ng five branches of the government, and they will base their decision on the agreement of the five branches. It was elevated, in fact, to the cabinet level. Do you think the cabinet, knowing that this is a hot issue, won't see what is right and what is wrong? Do you think? Alam mo ba si Amy, parating kumukontrata kapatid niya. Alam ng tao na. It is sponsored by Bongbong. Bongbong perhaps made a commitment to President Biden. And if he breaks his word to President Bongbong, President Biden, what will happen in the coming years? Should he need help? Okay, diba? What will happen in the coming years? Tidur ka pala sa iyong wala kang isang salita. Sasabihin sa kanya. It is normal for heads of state to conduct horse trading. Magaling talaga si GNL Opinions. Are you sure that is? How can it be small? Hindi pa natatapos ang 15 days. Another batch is coming. They are not refugees. How sure are you that that's going to be the program? Wala pa nga set in stone, Maribel. Now, it's possible that another batch is coming in while the batch is preparing to leave. Because hindi rin pwede na 50,000 at the same time. Right? After 59 days. Kaya nga kung hindi pa nila na-process yung mga papers, magdadagdag pa sila ng problema? Na dadagdag ang problema nila, hindi pa nila tatapos yung first batch na dumating? Problema? Di matatanbakan sila ng problema. Hindi naman sila ganun siguro katanga. You're not that stupid. Hello, lambing po, Miss Chubbs. Yeah, you should be ready. I appreciate that. Kasi there are certain issues to be studied well before we should proceed with the program. That is why that is necessary for the pilot program to succeed. The clue here is the pilot program. The clue here is the pilot program. Hello, Stephen, Tina Joel, thank you for visiting. If the pilot program does not succeed, then the program should be scrapped. Don't you think? Don't you think PBBM will allow the program to go on? When palpak yung yung pilot program? Kung successful yung pilot program, they proceed. Whatever was done in the pilot program that was successful, the, you you go on with the program.
They pointed it out to us that there are programs of other countries similar to what they were requesting.
And if you're familiar with these programs, these are short-term, temporary programs that would entail the processing of Afghans displaced prior to their relocation, for instance, to Australia, United Kingdom, Germany, Canada. Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct, Senator.
So ang mangyayari po sa atin, temporary site controlled by the Philippines, as mentioned by Secretary Manalo, perhaps a site with proper security measures, and perhaps a site funded by the United States. Is the United Nations involved, Mr. Ambassador?
I'm not sure. Perhaps Secretary Manalo, but I don't think the United Nations is involved in this.
Madam Chair, the reason why I'm mentioning this is that as we speak, there are 29 to 33 Filipinos still in Kabul right now, working for various NGOs. We have, correct me if I'm wrong, Secretary Manalo, we have accepted a similar number of Syrian refugees. And during the past decades, we accepted several East Timor refugees. And if ako buhay, during the time of President Quezon, syempre po, libo-libo po yung Russian Jews. So the question of distance probably is inapplicable right now. And during the time of President Marcos, we have the South Vietnamese being stationed temporarily in Palawan. So, Mr. Ambassador, kung sakali pong pumunta rito yung Afghans, ang kinakatakutan po kasi ng marami, parang nagkaroon ng stereotyping na suicide bombers ito. Ito po ba mga edukado? Ito po ba mga kababaihan? Ito po ba binubuo ng pamilya na naiwan? Hindi po ito yung mga nakasabit sa aeroplano. Ito po yung naiwan doon dahil nagtrabaho sa mga embassies. Tama po ba?
Tama. Hindi, all of them, lahat sila nagtrabaho for the U.S. government in one way or the other. At saka yung kanilang mga pamilya. Kaya it's anywhere between 50 to 60,000 that are still being processed for...
And you're perhaps aware, Mr. Ambassador, that we are a signatory to countless international agreements
Yes.
that should allow us to accept these Afghans
Yes.
in our soil. Tama po ba yun?
That's correct, Senator.
And are you aware of this? I hope my pronunciation is right. I haven't been to France yet, Madam Chair. Refoulement would mean the return of a refugee to his or her former state against his will, where he will be more threatened by, in this case, the Taliban. So, pag yung nakarating po sa atin, nagdili-dali tayo, pinabalik, marami ho tayong violation. Tama po ba yan, Ambassador?
Yan, hindi ko sigurado yan. Pero ang alam ko lang, the United States government has assured us that whoever that we will allow to come into the Philippines for processing, they will take care of them completely. In other words, if they are for some reason denied the SIV that their processing will take place, they will be immediately sent to another or a third country.
Narinig niyo? If denied po yung person ng SIB, they will not remain in the Philippines. They will be sent to another country. Where? I don't know. That's the problem that the Americans will have to solve. But based on the agreement, it's very clear. No one is to stay here permanently or for a long time. Because there is that 59-day visa. Ay, nako.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. One last point, Madam Chair. Secretary Manalo, correct me if I'm wrong. My data was prepared several weeks ago. More than 90,000 Afghans have been resettled across the United States over the past 20 months. More than 11,000 SIVs were issued to Afghans between October 2021 and September 2022, according to official figures. Tama po ba yan?
I cannot confirm, Mr. Senator.
Yes. Kung sakaling yung tama yung binabanggit nyo na 50,000, 1,000, mapapasama tayo rito sa figures na to. Kung dito ipoprocess to. At the rate they're going, 11,000, halos isang taon, 90,000 ang relocate. May posibilidad ba ho, Mr. Ambassador, na bumagal dahil nandito, natambak sa atin? Meron ba ang ganong posibilidad? O nag-uusap kayo sa tanong ko? Hindi, nasa sa atin na yun, Senator, na kung ilan ang gusto natin. Pero ang request nila is anywhere between 1,000 to 1,500 per batch. Ipo-process nila, then they will go to the United States. Kung gusto
Narinig yun? Nasa sa atin. Nasa sa atin. Hindi nasa sa Amerika. Nasa sa atin. Oh. So, ang controlling po ng incoming batch ay hindi po Amerikano. Tayo po. Hello, Cutie Connie. Tatawa lang ako eh. Lahat ng mga misinformation, 50,000 at one time. Where did it come from? Malinaw yung pagkasabi. Sorry, hindi ako techie. I have to stop sometime.
natin less, pwede rin. Ang
Pwedeng
tinatanong
less,
sa
ha?
atin is exactly yung kanilang tinatanong or ini-request sa atin, what is it that we will be able to get back to them that we can accept? In other words, not all of this.
Oh, nagtatanong ang US sa Pilipinas, what are we willing to accept? Hindi persado ang Pilipinas. Voluntary yung pagtanggap. Ang babayaran ng buo ang cost ng pag-process ng papers ng mga Afghans. Ulitin ko, ang sabi ng US, nasa sa inyo kung ilan ang kukunin nyo. Malinaw. Malinaw po. Pinapalabo lang ng misinformation. Yeah. Ay, nako. I am frustrated.
So whatever it is they intend to process will come to the Philippines, and then they will be here, and they will wait for their processing. It will be by batches.
It will be by batches.
It's completely up to us.
It's up to us.
Marami mo nakikinig kayo. Definitely, the Philippines will not be the final destination of these refugees.
Yes, that is
Temporary lang po sila dito.
Oh. Hindi po ang final destination po doong mga Afghans. Temporary lang po. Normally, it will be 59 days because of the visa. Diba? Anong pinagkakalatin na? Puro misinformation eh. Naniniwala naman tayong mga viewers. Hindi ina-analyze masyado pati yung tape ng hearing. Nami-misinterpret pa nila.
Takutan ng marami, baka malahukan ng mga terrorist. Kaya na-elevate na sa Anti-Terrorism Council, etc. etc. Naniniwala po kayo, Mr. Ambassador, na ito pong pinag-uusapan natin ay pangamba na may posibilidad na hindi naman dapat mangyari kasi na-vet na po yun bago dalhin dito.
Correct. Yan ang tama, Senator. Kaya nga, lahat ng ating mga security agencies ay tinatanong ng DFA dahil they also will have to give their comments kung anong tingin nila. Pero yan ang sabi sa atin ng mga Amerikan na they will be vetted first, they will be double-checked before they come to the Philippines, and then again through processing.
Madam Chair, if I may be allowed to express my personal sentiment, I don't see anything wrong here. Sa tingin ko po, kung talagang na-vet ito, nagkaroon lang ng konting hype, stereotyping, bordering on discrimination. Na siguro naman, magbubuting tao yung iba. Yung mga FW po natin, nasa iba't ibang bansa, tinatanggap naman po yun. Kasasabi ko lang, merong 33 na Filipinos pa sa Kabul. So siguro kung masasala po ito, wala tayong gastos, nasa secured na lugar, nasa isang isla. I think, Madam Chair, we have abided and complied fully with all our international humanitarian commitments, including the possible erasure of what they term as, quote-unquote, human rights records of our country. Malinis na ho tayo dito.
Magaling din yung sabi ni Gatchalian or Juan Tolentino, what? Yung sino? It's a one way to clean up our image. Now, we are not human rights violators. It's a goodwill producing move on the part of President Bongbong Marcos. So many advantages, and the move will not hurt really the Philippines. Only yung mga maipal ang gumagawa.
We're getting here with clean hands. Tinulungan po natin yung mga tao na wala namang mga kasalanan. Details will be laid down. But yun lang po yung sentiments ko, Madam Chair. But yes, ang mali lang po dito siguro yung proseso shrouded in non-transparency manner, not revealed to the country, not full explained, siguro DFA ang dapat managot dyan, pero yung mga Afghans, wala po silang kasalanan. Salamat po, Madam Chair.
Maraming salamat, Senator Tolentino. Ngunit,
Then put it in black and white. I approve. I agree with you. Kalang na may meeting pa sila. How can they put it in black and white kaagad? Dapat ilagay nila sa black and white paper. Posible mabago pa ang isip ko kung nakita ko dun sa black and white paper na sinasabi na magaling na distinguished lady. Oh. Then put it in kaya. Then let us receive the 1.5. Hindi. Baka hindi pwede 1.5, 1,000 lang. Oh, depende. Bakit huhusgan natin kaagad? With that, the proposal, put in black and white. Kaya nga mayroon consultation. Kaya nga may consultation. Tama ka ulit, Manang Maribel. Always at the last moment, tama ka. Oh. Di ba? Ngayon, hindi yan mangyayari kung the pilot program ay palpak. Kaya importante yung first part po ng Senate hearing, yung pilot program na minention. Hindi po diniscuss ni Amy ang significance ng pilot program. Puro paninira ang ginagawa niya. Kasi nung ba parating na-influensya ng misinformation?
Tinatanong ngayon, kung bakit ipapadala ng Amerika ang kanilang mga dating empleyado sa ating bansa. Wala naman tayong kinalaman dito. Hindi ba nila tayo binigyan ng dahilan? What reason was given by the U.S. for making the aforementioned request, if
Sinagot ko na yan. Una, duwag ang mga Amerikano. They don't want to take the political heat. Kasi controversial din dito sa issues sa kanila. Second, cost is involved. Kaya nga mga call center nila dito pinapadala eh. Di ba? Kaya nga ang mga produktong kailangan nila ay sa China o sa Vietnam ginagawa. Because cost is involved. But primarily, duwag yung mga Amerikano, yung mga politiko. Meron silang mga malakas lang sila para incentive para pabigyan mo sila. Si Bongbong Marcos, nang nagpunta siya sa States, ang problema po niya ay ang West Philippine Sea. Kailangan niyang asikasuhin yun. Oh, he got concessions. What do you think he gave in return? Hindi na yun, kasi because past issues na yung Edgar, na-signan na yun eh. What do you think he got in return? Being the president, if you were in his shoes, what would you do? Now, you were asking for these things. Yung presidente is asking a favor from you. Hindi mo siya pagbibigyan, pero gusto mo, kukuha ka ng favor sa kanya. Hindi ko natatanggapin yung mga binibigay mo sa akin. Sige, ayaw ko tumanggap ng Afghan refugees. Ganun ba yun? Ganun ba yun? Kung if you're in the shoes of president, what are you going to think of? Is it your dislike of the Afghans or is it the benefit of our country? Di ba? Hindi lalabas, manggagamit lang tayo. Take and take. Pero we do not give. Sabi ko nga sa'yo, paparinig ko rin ulit yung take.
Okay, ito na. Tapos ko na yung kanya. Di naman gobyerno natin, supportan natin ng mga naman ang Amerika while they are passing the papers. Okay, tama. Siguro, yan ang meron pang consideration yan. Nag-usap na sila ng President Bongbong Marcos. Tungkol dyan, meron na silang pinag-usapan siguro. Kunwari lang si Babes Romualdez ang magsasuggest. Siguro sabi, ito, it's not backed by facts. It's not backed by facts. Sabi na, nag-usap na lang ng President. Ito posibleng senaryo. Sabi ni President Biden kay BB, I have a problem. May mga Afghan refugees na naging empleyado namin. They will be under persecution ng mga Taliban. Pwede ba tanggapin muna na sila? Kasi masyadong mainit ngayon dito ang politika sa Amerika.
Yan ha.
Pwede ba? Pag tinanggap mo sila, ibibigyan kayo namin ikaw ng suporta sa military, sa aid. Di ba posibleng mangyari yan? Kaya pinadaan niya kay Babes Romualdez ang proposal na yan. Palagay niyo kaya? Kung matalino kayo.
When I said that, political analysis, hindi ko pa alam yung hearing na yan. Maglibot-libot kayo sa buong bloggers. Mayroon bang bloggers na nag-create ng ganyang senaryo? Mayroon bang blogger na who was thinking in the shoes of President Bongbong Marcos? So, anong iniisip ni Bongbong Marcos din? Siyempre, ang kapakanan ng Pilipinas. Para masuheto yung mga Chinese. Tingnan nyo ngayon na nangyari. Tahimik ang mga Chinese. Tameme. Nililigawan ulit si Bongbong Marcos. Nagbibigay ng mga donasyon, na-aproba ng durian export natin. Siguro, mayroong mga intelligence ang Chinese concerning the support that the U.S. will give the Philippines should they try to grab one of our territories. Nakasama ba sa Pilipinas ang pag-grant niya ang supposedly favor sa US? That's small favor. And all the advantages are with us. Okay, thank you. I do not listen to others. Yeah. Don't listen to me. Puro preposterous yung mga ideas ko. But so far, anong mga ideas ko ang out of this world? Siguro when I crafted that scenario, ano mo pinagsasabi ng matandang ito? Ang comment ng iba? Tapos, usually, that's what happens when I make a controversial, take a controversial position. Something happens that, I don't know why, that proves my point. Put yourself in the shoes of President Marcos. You are the president. You are the president of the Philippines. Your problem is West Philippine Sea. And the enemy is strong like China. And you need help. Who do you go to? Your longest ally. in terms of years. And they agreed to help you with military, with economic aid. And then when they ask you a small favor, you refuse them. Why not Thailand? Why not Indonesia? Because they are not the longest ally of the United States. Besides, they have no record of accepting refugees. In this case, they're not refugees. Why, we have a long-standing history of accepting refugees. I gave you the long list. Even President Digong accepted refugees.
Yung political analyst is TC Wallet ni Babes Romualdez. Diyan,
Hindi na yan.
ang
Kung ilan ang gusto natin, pero ang request nila is anywhere between
They are not refugees, as rightly pointed out by Ambassador Babes Romualdez. Is that correct, Ambassador? Was your statement regarding the fact that these are not refugees we are speaking of, and there is no doubt that the Philippines upholds and takes pride in our history of giving succor and refuge to international refugees. Ambassador Romualdez, please. These are not refugees,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, absolutely correct, Madam Chair. They are not refugees. They are employees or former employees of the U.S. government, and they're asking us if we could help them in processing them, precisely as pointed out by Secretary Tidoro, that it is a matter of administrative in nature.
They are asking us. They are not dictating. Okay. They are not dictating what the Philippines will do.
Thank you. That being the case, I get affirmation as well from DFA Legal that they are not refugees. That is correct? Okay, if that is the status of these individuals, what is the basis, therefore, of the executive branch of government for admitting them into the Philippines under Section 47 of Commonwealth Act 613 on the power of the President to admit aliens for humanitarian reasons, expressly referring only to refugees? Yes, Secretary Manalo, please. What is the basis, since they clearly are not refugees, they cannot be accommodated under Section 47 of the Commonwealth Act?
Thank you, Madam Chair. In fact, the notion as we understood it from the concept note of the United States is there's no intention to leave them here in the Philippines. They're only going to use the Philippines as a temporary site for their processing, for their eventual trip to the United States, provided they pass all the vetting. And the U.S. In our talks has also assured us, in case we agree, that they would ensure that none of the SIV applicants would be left behind, nor have the option to consider remaining in the Philippines to seek refugee status. So this would only be, in effect, a temporary.
I will read your statement, Ms. Maribel, as well. It's a good statement. I will wait for further meetings. Jack, I do not agree with you when it comes to EDCAB. Americans need us. Yeah. But before, Maribel, but before he went to the States, he already approved of EDCA. Yeah. There was already an agreement sa EDCA. The EDCA was not a result of the Afghan problem. Kita nyo, Ma'am Maribel? It was already in place, yung EDCA, yung additional 4 bases, was already in place. So it was nil. It had no effect on the negotiations. Kita nyo, you can check your data, Ma'am Maribel po. I agree with you. Kung ang kapalit ng EDCA ay ang Afghan, against din ako. Against din ako. Kaso, in place na po yung EDCA. Oh. Oh. In place na po ang EDCA. So the favor was not because of the EDCA. It was for something else. Commitment that they'll join the patrols, etc. It was not because of EDCA. If that is if it was because of EDCA, then I agree with you. Ayoko rin. Na for EDCA, bibigyan natin yung sa Afghan? No way. Unfair exchange po yun. Unfair exchange po yun. Okay. All other tapes. Kasi yung bakit dito sa Pilipinas, bakit hindi Thailand, Indonesia, at saka Brunei, minention niya. I ran out of tape. Simple lang tanong. Sino ba ang kaalyado na rito? Talagang matagal na ang kaalyado. Ang Thailand ba? Ang Indonesia ba? Ang Malaysia ba? Ang Singapore ba? Oh. Okay. That's it. Ulitin ko. I take a hard position that I know most of you don't agree with. But as usual, I'll take it because as I see it, I place myself in the shoes of President Bongbong Marcos. What is good for the country? Oh. Yung iba natawa nung I painted the picture of the meeting between PBBM and President Biden. Came out to be true. Okay, that's it. Bye. Thank you and see you next LS. Should you want to make a comment, put it in the replay section. I will answer it. Okay? Thank you to everybody. I leave this on you now.